Hello, I'm Gordon from Camera Labs, and this is the GFX 50S, Fujifilm's new medium format mirrorless camera. I've got it fitted here with a 63mm f2.8 lens, which delivers standard coverage. As you can see, it's a fairly chunky body for a mirrorless camera, but it's actually very compact for medium format. In fact, it's roughly similar in size and weight to a full-frame DSLR, despite its much larger sensor. The controls and menus will be familiar to any Fujifilm X owner, and the 3.2-inch screen shares the same mechanism as the X-T2, so you can angle it vertically or out to the side. You'll also find the familiar film simulations, including my favourite monochrome option, Acros. You'll also see the GFX 50S can record 1080p video at 24 to 30p, and here's a short clip I filmed with a pre-production body. The screen is actually touch sensitive, allowing you to tap anywhere to reposition the AF area, or like the X-T2 you can use the joystick. It's a contrast-based autofocus system, but the ability to autofocus almost anywhere on the frame is actually quite unusual for medium format. On the top of the camera you'll find dedicated dials for the sensitivity and also the shutter speed, which along with the aperture ring on the lenses means it shares the same control philosophy as the X series bodies. There's also a really nice backlit screen on the right hand side with shooting information. Behind a flap on the right hand side you'll find twin SD memory card slots, again reminiscent of the X-T2 and X Pro 2. On the left side of the body, behind a variety of flaps, you'll find USB 3, HDMI, a 2.5mm remote jack and a DC input for use with an optional AC adapter, along with 3.5mm microphone and headphone jacks. Below these is the large hatch for the battery pack, and that's rated to 400 frames. So far, the design and control share a great deal with the latest X series bodies, but the major selling point is of course behind the lens, a medium format sensor with 51.4 megapixels. Of course, Canon will give you that on a full frame sensor, but the GFX 50X sensor is 1.7 times larger, measuring 43.8 by 32.9mm. That means those pixels will be larger than on the Canon DSLR, with potentially better tonal and low light performance. Certainly images I've taken with pre-production bodies look fantastically detailed. Here's one I took with a 63mm f2.8 lens at f9 and 200 ISO, and when you zoom in there's so much detail. At this point I'd like to thank photographer Wayne Johns for setting up this concept and lighting, and also to model Charlotte Atkinson. Here's another shot of Charlotte taken from closer range with the 120mm f4 lens, here close to f8 and again at 200 ISO using flash lighting. And this time when we look closely the detail around her eyes is absolutely fantastic. The GFX 50S is pretty good at higher ISOs too. I took this under ambient light at 1000 ISO with the 120mm f4 and handheld 2 at 100th of a second. It's not as crisp as the previous flash shots at 200 ISO, but there's still loads of detail. Thanks here to Damien Lovegrove for the lighting and concept, and to model Carla Monaco. While the GFX 50S excels at studio portraits, it's also great for landscape and architecture. Here's a shot I took with it under low light with a 63mm f8 and 200 ISO. Once again, this image is from a pre-production body, but I'm still impressed with the quality when you look closely. And once again, sharing very similar controls to the X series bodies means it's very easy to get started with this, and it's a camera that you can use very easily handheld. Now you can download all of these images and many others from my preview at cameralabs.com, which over time will turn into my final review when I've got my hands on a final production body, and of course I will be doing lots of comparisons with other formats. And if you're interested in my own personal photography, don't forget to follow Camera Labs on Instagram and Twitter. See you next time. Bye!